Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Area Headquarters. I'd like to start with a very simple statistic. A very small number of people, perhaps as few as 60, commit 9 out of 10 street crimes in this area. We're talking about street robbery, mugging. Many people have lost property to these criminals, and in the last 18 months, 3 people have lost their lives in the course of these attacks. But the damage doesn't end there. For every direct victim, there are family members, friends, neighbors, who become afraid to use the streets. These robbers are depriving us of the community itself. Well, here's the good news. We are taking the streets back.
Sarah Oscar 595 receiving.
Go ahead, Tone.
I'm at the vehicle depot now, Narika. There's no sign of the use. Can you give me the description again?
2 IC1s, about 16. White trainers, tracksuits.
I'll get back to you, Narika. Excuse me! Oi! Sonny! I'm talking to you.
Me?
Yes. Well, there's no one else around, is there? Why didn't you stop when I called out to you? What's your name?
Gary Miller.
What are you doing in the vehicle depot?
What?
You hard of hearing? The council vehicle depot.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've just been down the job club. I ain't been anywhere.
I saw you.
No, not me, honest.
Turn out your pockets.
You can't make me.
Listen, I believe that you're involved in an act of criminal damage. Now, I want to know what you got in your pockets. Now, are you going to turn them out, or am I nicking you right now? Gary Miller, I'm arresting you on suspicion of criminal damage and possession of an offensive weapon. Now, you don't have to say anything, but anything you do say will be taken down and maybe given in evidence. Do you understand?
The street robbery initiative at Sun Hill is no more than a pilot project. We don't have personnel or premises exclusively devoted to the task, but we are achieving successes. And I'm not just talking about arrests and convictions, important though they are. I'm claiming success in areas which aren't usually thought of as police business.
Right now, Gary, we're going to be asking you some questions, but there has to be an adult here with you when that happens. It could be your mum and dad, or the person who looks after you, or a social worker. Now, who can we get hold of?
Look, I don't know about no damage. It weren't me.
Where can we get in touch with your mum and dad, Gary?
We've got to get my mum involved.
Yes, we have.
You can get her at work. She'll go at the wall.
Yes, Miss...
I was very interested in the idea of commercial sponsorship for police operations. Are we going to see Detective Constable Dashwood wearing a tracksuit with an advert across his chest?
In a word, no. But I think the DCI can clarify that point.
Well, in fact, it's much more practical help we're getting. When we leafleted the whole division, the gas company got their meter men to deliver the leaflets in the course of their rounds, and the bus garage agreed to carry batches of the leaflets on their vehicles. So, in fact, that did save us quite substantial sums.
And when you think about it, the gas men and the bus crews have both got a very direct interest in helping to keep the streets safe.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I got rung up at work. You got my son here.
What's his name?
Gary. Gary Miller.
I'll just check with the custody officer.
It's all wrong, this, you know. They said criminal damage. My boy wouldn't do no damage.
What we're looking for now, and if you people could pass the message on, is a sponsor for a spot on a commercial radio station. We want to talk to teenagers who aren't likely to take much notice of messages in newspapers. Or in the classroom, come to that.
The gentleman in the middle. Yeah. You've told us about crime prevention, which is all well and fine for the long run. But the person out there who's getting mugged, they want to see the culprits caught.
We've said there's quite a short list of people who are doing most of the street robbery around here. When we get sufficient information on any of those people, rest assured they become targets.
You're denying that you slashed the tyres of the vehicle?
I was never in that depot. I've never been there in my life.
See?
Well, what was the knife for then, Gary?
What he was doing with that thing, God only knows.
Gary?
Say something, you stupid great lump.
Mrs. Miller.
Leave it out, Mum. Self-defence, wasn't it?
What are you on about? He lives in a fantasy world.
We'll conduct this interview, Mrs. Miller, if you don't mind. Oh, what do you mean, self-defence, Gary?
There's these two kids, right? They've been taking money off me.
Gary.
Let him tell us. Go on, son.
Like, they said they'd beat me up, cut me, and they'd do it and all. I mean, they'd done it to people.
They threatened you and took money from you?
Yeah. So I thought I don't have to put up with this, and I got the knife.
You stupid kid, why didn't you tell me?
Well, you see, we're talking about 2,500 arrests.
Offences, Fred. 2,500 offences.
Yes, as the DAC says, offences. 2,500 offences.
Great. 2871. That's handy. It's not always possible to get in touch during office hours.
No, it isn't, is it?
Just giving the Gazette some background, Mum.
We need good informal channels to the media, Mike, not just for the robbery initiative. So, get stuck in.
I've spoken to my colleagues in the Juvenile Bureau about Gary. We don't intend taking any action against him on the criminal damage case. However, there remains the charge of possession of an offensive weapon.
Yeah, well, he only had that because he was frightened. He told you.
That still constitutes an offence, Mrs. Miller. Now, we're minded to deal with that by way of a formal caution. That means no court appearance and no criminal record. But that decision will be taken after we've had reports on Gary.
I won't have to go in one of those homes, will I?
You can go home with your mother. I'll tell you when we want you to come back. But you've made some serious allegations, Gary. They need to be investigated. Before you go, I'd like you to talk to someone from CID about the lads who robbed you. Or will you do that?
Well, you've got enough aggravation carrying the knife. What are you going to carry around next? A machine gun? You can't deal with these lads. Let them have a go.
So how come you didn't get to meet the press corps?
I ain't got time for all that. I'm a man at the sharp end, doing the job.
Oh, right.
Anyway, I'll be wasting in the local press. Personality like mine, it's got to be an exclusive, Sunday National.
Yeah, cop had me in handcuffs, says bimbo, 18.
What?
Yeah, hello. CID Lines. You what, yeah? What, he's naming names, is he? Yeah, just hang on a sec. Yeah, I'll talk to him. Sounds right up our street. So, apart from nicking your money, Gary, what else do Wayne and Jerome get up to?
Robbing other people.
Other kids on the estate?
Yeah, kids, you know, just people on the streets around there.
How active are they?
What do you mean?
Well, how often do they do it? Now and then? When they need dosh? Every week, every day?
Jerome, he does it when he bunks school, that's most days, and Wayne, well, that's all he does. Robbing's his living.
Jerome Fletcher, 50. Wayne Thomas, 17. Both are on a list of suspected active street robbers.
And these are the two that Gary Miller's fingered. He says they mugged him. They'll say they didn't. Can't see CPS giving this a run.
Well, Tosh is talking to Gary now, see what else he can give us on the pair. Now, they look like tasty targets to me, Gov.
I decide who's targeted, Jim. And you know what you have to do to convince me? Research.
Action plan, budget.
All part of growing up.
In terms of records, your Jerome Fletcher's got form. Taking and driving. Wayne Thomas, clean as a whistle.
What put them on the hit list?
Info from Reg Hollis.
I'm gonna need more than his canteen daydreams to make Burnside target them.
I was instructed at the outset of the street robbery initiative to take special note of low-level background intelligence emanating from home beats and the reliefs.
I don't knock the canteen, you mean?
It's where Reg Hollis does his best work, isn't it?
Well, all in all, it went very well.
Yes, I think so.
Mind you, our press officer.
Yeah, every time Fred opens his mouth, he subtracts from the total sum of human knowledge.
I'd like our own statistical analysis to get out to the press. It's more accurate than the G10 figures, but I think the story needs a bit of a spin.
Yes, of course.
Do you think you could slip a few column inches to young what's-her-name on the Gazette?
Julie?
Yeah.
I'm hopeful, Ma'am.
Right. Well, we'll talk about it later when I get the latest printout.
Right.
Yeah, Jerome's got previous. Mind you, that just shows us what a Wally is. I mean, he got caught, right? Now, Wayne, he is the dominant one. He'll be in control.
What's he like?
Oh, he's big. He's a bit tasty behind right hand and all. Martial arts, all that game.
He's only 17.
Yeah, well, in that case, he can only get worse. Now, team-handed if you put in that one, Jim. Believe you me.
But he's well at it.
Oh, yeah. But you know these kids, Jim, you ain't dealing with a criminal mastermind. He boasts about it.
Thick.
As pigs will. But don't mean he ain't crafty. He won't frighten. You get him, bang to rights, or we'll walk away laughing.
How's it looking? We're talking about a lot of man-hours. Well, from what I hear, these guys don't stir from their pits till half 11, 12. So we can cut down on the surveillance hours. Exactly. That's more like a runner. Well, a little caper like this, in and around the estate, we're looking at, well, at least 3 teams turning over rapidly. Otherwise, it'll be prime-time news on the Bush Telegraph. I'm looking at 12 hours here. Noon to midnight. Have you got the costings? Vehicles? Overtime? Just hang on a sec. There you are. That's the bottom line. We're talking resources.
You.
What do you reckon, Gov?
Sit down. I have to be satisfied on various points before I apply the resource, right?
Sure.
Right, first point. These are currently active street robbers.
Definitely.
I'll buy that. And you've also come up with a feasible action plan here. So the final question is your budget offering value for money?
Well, it's our information that hardly a day goes by without at least Wayne doing a bit of work. We'll get bodies on this one.
Yeah. But you're asking for 12 hours' wages here for a posse big enough to nick the James brothers.
We do need the numbers, Gov.
Yes, you do need the numbers. That's why you're only going to get half the hours. And I'm going to have to go cap in hand to find that.
So if they haven't offended by 6 p.m?
You've blown it.
The meter's been running nearly an hour and we're not getting any action.
Bit gutty if Wayne's changed the habits of a lifetime and got up in the morning. You sure about this stairway?
It's the only way out of the block. He has to come past us.
All right, we're targeting the muggers. What about other aspects of the street robbery initiative?
Well, we've made a lot of progress with the council. They're working on the street lighting and the physical security of the problem estates. And we've taken notice of their sensitivities. Where we need to go in and pull someone, we're treading very lightly.
There's also the question of what happens to these youths after they leave our hands. I mean, the magistrates just bail them and they're back out on the streets again.
Well, that's an area I'd like to deal with. We could talk to some of the clerks to the justices, let them know just what we're trying to do here. And it might be sensible to get the probation service on board as well.
Yes, well, I'm all for that. If they'll listen.
Oh, I'm sure they will, sir. As long as we acknowledge that we've got to do some listening as well.
Well, I suppose we've all got to learn new tricks. Lunch?
Stalker 1 from Stalker 2 receiving.
Go ahead, 2.
Yeah, Fletcher's shown at home. Must have been trigonometry on the timetable this morning.
Here we go. Thomas has left the flat.
Okay, time.
And he's hidden.
East.
Stalker 2 from Stalker 1 receiving.
It's all go, innit? Know what I mean? Right, it's loose. Good. Be careful. Watch it. What you doing? Get me through the window.
If I drop it, can you catch it?
No. Watch what you're doing. Oh, there you are. Cheers. Be careful. Watch it. Right. I'll put us in the back. Look. Do you think he made us? Not as the filth. As pillocks, possibly. Stalker 3 from Stalker 2, receiving over.
Go ahead, Jim.
Target moving in the direction of Anchor Street.
Can you position yourselves?
Relocating to Anchor Street. Drop me just here, Barry. You drive straight on.
Cheers, mate.
Mike's quiet. Do you think he's lost them?
No, he'll show out if he uses the PR. Anchor Street.
It's near the market. Runs parallel with the estate.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of quiet streets off at the other side.
Yeah, on the way up to Stone Street. Do you think they're on a snatch right now?
Well, they can be back on the estate in minutes. It's got to be happy hunting ground.
Probably done Dashwood. He always looks like he's holding, folding.
I hope not, actually. I mean, I know it'd be a nice economical result and everything, but it'd look dead iffy in the absence of other witnesses.
Stalker 1 from Stalker 3, receiving.
Go ahead, Mike.
Can I be relieved by a vehicle in Stone Street next to the steps? Targets are mugging bags of fish and chips.
OK, Mike. Posh and Jim can take that.
I'll wait until they're in position, then go back and join Barry.
Received.
Well, I think we can be encouraged that we're beginning to get our message across.
Well, we're certainly giving it our best shot on the street, sir.
That's going to get the recognition it deserves, Frank. We are opening up new channels into the media.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to get my picture in the papers or stuff like that. Is that the sort of thing you mean?
Oh, it's always possible. The DAC seems very keen to expand the pilot project to cover the whole area, sir.
Oh, that's very encouraging. No end of brownie points all round.
Can't be bad.
As long as we keep delivering the goods. The essence of crime management is a precise application of limited resources.
We speak of little else in CID.
Stalker 2 from Stalker 1. What's happening?
What's happening here, Skip? Wayne's attacking tanks in a rocket-firing helicopter, and Jerome's on his 25th lap at Indianapolis.
We have 2 hours left, and they've not even acted suspiciously.
Well, it's not our fault. I think we've got action. Targets are leaving the arcade and walking through the market. Mine. Carver's following on foot. Targets are heading towards the Stone Street steps in the direction of Anchor Street and the estate.
Stalker 1 from Carver. Target's onto a mark. I see 1 male. Around 30, 35, dark suit carrying briefcase. Still moving towards Stone Street.
Stalker 3 from 1 receiving.
Go on, Skip.
Relocate to the north end of Duke's Place. Do not show out.
Understood.
Yeah, it's clear.
Carver from Stalker 1. Don't show out, Jim. Hang back, even if it means losing contact.
If they don't take this bloke.
We're all wrong-footed. Life's like that.
Carver to Stalker units. Targets following Mark and heading towards Duke's Place.
Stalker 3, go.
Get your money, you ain't gonna hurt me.
Police. Wayne Thomas, you're under arrest.
Right, slag.
Oi, come here, you. Come on, sunshine. Get it.
I'm arresting you for robbery. You don't have to say anything. Anything you do say may be given in evidence.
He's made his feelings clear. Right, let's get his bodies away.
Go on
Clean,
now.
clean, that's the spirit.
I'm moving.
So how long you been doing robberies, Jerome?
About 2-3 years.
What, since you were 11? 12?
I was 12.
How'd you start?
At school, there was this kid, right? He used to rob off me. Well, you know, he was older than me. He could beat me up.
Yeah?
Well, he got me robbing off other kids. The young ones.
Coming back to more recently, Jerome, could you give us some details about some of the robberies you and Wayne did? Now, I know you can't remember all of them.
You do understand your rights. As you can see, Mr. Thomas, your son has been informed of his rights.
He's been a bit of an handful. He's never been a bad lad, though. I don't know whether he's been mixing with the wrong type or what.
Leave it out, Dad. We don't have to say nothing to them. Just keep your mouth shut like me.
Yeah, well, of course, everyone's suspicious of crime statistics.
Yeah, but what I want Mike to put across for us is the genuine drop in reported street crime. Come in.
Oh, dear.
About the statistics, Mum.
Yes, here they are, Mike. You got whacked this afternoon, then?
All part of the job.
Unfortunate, though. Not the image you want to present to young Julie, is it?
Especially when he's trying to give her a controlled leak.